Forged in the lockdown. Hello and welcome to Critical Questions, the Unfathomable quiz. I've trawled the internet for the best, worst, most interesting and ridiculous dumb questions I can find. And with any luck, my guests will be able to answer all of them. Today we have got with us Andy Hall.
Hello.
Scientist Mel.
Hi, my nose is itching, so forgive me while I rub it.
Jenni Morgan. Who's muted.
Hi.
Hello. Black Sofa, Mike.
I've got that angry face on.
Yes, you have. I'm waiting for you to shout at me.
I was muted, but he's muffled.
He is muffled.
Loud noises.
Stop talking through your pillow.
Who's muffled? Me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. Hello.
And godless. Can you? And godless Scummer.
Ahoy! Happy New Year and all that.
I was going to say Happy New Year to everyone. It's been too long.
Happy New Year. Does it feel different to anyone?
No, yeah, well, it's sort of, okay, we were driving home today from the doctors, and it felt like we were getting to the end of COVID, even though we're going into our harshest lockdown yet. But it felt like the beginning of the end.
Well,
So
there's going to be a new riot in Kenosha tonight. They decided not to charge that cop who shot the guy 7 times in the back.
What, self-defense?
Crime. Apparently, yes.
I did have to get it all laugh out of the Scottish Minister Nicola Sturgeon's little remark today.
About Trump.
Yeah, sort of saying it's just that if you think basically if you're thinking of coming to Scotland and playing golf whilst Biden's being inaugurated, it's not considered essential travel. So you won't be getting in.
I like her. I like Nicola Sturgeon quite a bit. I think she's great. I really like her.
Is that right?
She reminds me of Caviar.
What? How?
She's salty and very round.
Because caviar is sturgeon eggs.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
There
Fair
you
enough.
go.
See, I got the joke. I thought it was rather good actually, but you know,
Oh yeah.
It worked. It was
it's
slightly
all right. Yeah.
Boy, I make the most random connections in my head sometimes.
Oh,
That's okay. That's
Thank
why we
you
love
very-
you, Black Sofa.
thank you very much. You have. Became
Can you hear
sport-
me okay now, by the way?
Yeah, you're not bad. Not
Yeah.
as muffled. Ox says salty and smells like fish ass.
Something that Tom Hanks would spit out of his mouth, like he did in Big. Y'all remember that film? He spit out, bleh, caviar when he was a grown up in the movie Big.
Yes, I remember that now, yeah.
Yeah,
I've completely forgotten that film.
that film is great. I need to go back and watch it because it made me feel good. It's a good,
Wow.
feel good film.
It
I
came
haven't
up.
watched that in years.
Was it you that answered the question the other day? How would you do if you were turned 13? If you woke up and you were 13 and someone answered it with, go and find Zora, whatever his name was. Whatever the name of the...
Oh, the wish, like the little fortune teller machine.
Yes.
I think it's Zoltak or Zoltar or something.
Would I be able to keep remembering what I know now?
Yes. We're not doing that question. That question is an old question.
Okay, sorry.
Would you like a question for today? Okay.
Yes.
Hey, that's an idea.
Why not? Why not?
Okay. Right.
Ooh, we're
Question.
playing the game.
Shh. Question 1342. What is the most annoying thing that people assume about you?
Oh God.
That I will always be on this show.
Oh,
I'm just joking. I'm sorry. I'm just joking. I just thought I would bring it around full circle and just, like, boom. I thought, that's not my actual answer. Thank you for asking me today, Dave. I really don't hate you. I promise.
I thought that was a rebuke.
I'm gonna say
thought that was
you agreed to come far too often if you didn't like it at least a little bit.
It's fine.
Sandy says never tell Dave something like this. It's a trick question. Stool says that my beauty isn't natural. Is it not?
Okay.
No, wasn't he hit by a truck?
Was the truck natural?
It was a natural truck, sure.
It was a natural truck.
It's organic. It's an organic truck.
Poor Stool. Oh, I
I can't pull out
just said
Mr.
that.
Celery. Stool's not on here, so we can't use Mr. Celery and make fun of him.
He's in the chat. It still works. Jeff.
That I'm hesitant to answer questions.
No, never.
No, I suppose people thinking I'm a walkover. I'm not,
No, I don't think that. I think you're too awkward for that. Are you? Do people think you're a walkover normal in real life?
Yeah. They tend to find out otherwise if they push their luck too far.
Chad says, what do people assume about me? Chad, the Aryan Uber Munch motherfucker. Seriously. Fair enough. Still says,
Super
I like... Ginger Nation says, for your kinky yoga ball fund, you beautiful man. Do you know how much a kinky yoga ball is? It's like $120, but thank you. Store says, I like it when Scientism Mel plays with Mr. Celery. I prefer it when she plays with her beaver. I had to try and say that with a straight face.
I can whip it out again if you really want me to.
Whip out the beaver. It's time.
It is. My whole hand fits in it and everything. See? Should we call this beaver Dave? Dave the beaver?
No.
Dave the beaver. This is the Canadians' fault, by the way. They made this.
Oh, Yuhan, thank you very much for your $199. Just because someone said ball. We can say ball lots. The African humanist said, someone assumed I was pregnant, but it was just too many biscuits and snacks. See, that's just rude. It's really rude. Badger says, people assume I give a shit when they think of me, unless they are someone I care about. I don't. Ever, apparently. Ginger Nation says that I have orange pubes. You're bright orange everywhere else. I don't want to know. Dawn Uphead says, Mr. Celery sounds like a creepy guy you might meet at a cigarette stand.
No, that's Stool, not Mr. Celery. That's Stool.
Andy. I was going to say, I didn't.
See, now I want to know what color Ginger Nation's pubes are.
No, we don't. We don't need to know.
You gonna have people sliding into your DMs on Twitter, Jenny. I hear you like orange pubes. Pictures. Y'all don't do that to her, but if you do, let me know.
I can pass them on, sure.
Andy.
People assume that I am a Republican because when you look at this and that I'm an older white guy in the Boston area, there is an assumption that they can just tell me racist because they think I'm a Republican. There is just an assumption that they can just say racist stuff around me and I'm going to be okay with that. So
you're one of us. You're an old boy.
In fact, I grew the beard to be more accessible. Because if I shave off the beard, I look like I'm gonna be invading Poland in 1939, basically. And so you could always try to be a little bit more accessible and humane looking, I guess.
You could always dye the hair blue.
I could. That is correct. I do have hair to dye blue, but that seems like a lot of work.
Cheap dye, it's not. To dye it properly is. But just wash your hair in blue, basically.
Yeah, so I would say that's the most vexing thing people just assume about me.
See, I don't think you come across as Republican because you smile.
Right.
That's the weird thing. When you said it, your smile is nice. It's friendly.
Well, the thing is, when you see me out in public, and if I have like a polo shirt on and khakis, I do look like the King of America. I have to tell you this. So there
like are a Banana Republic and a Gap.
Oh yeah. It's like Banana Republic and the Gap had a baby, and that baby turned out to be me. Grew up to be me. So here I just have my hoodie, I have my hat. I look like a non-fascist, but when properly attired, when I look, try to look like a people, like an adult, that's my default setting is
Aryan Brotherhood.
Fascist, basically.
Yeah.
It's bad, but true.
See, you make me think of Jon Stewart, so.
He does make me think of Jon Stewart a bit. Ginger Nation is updated. He has rainbow pubes, not orange.
That's a lot of work, man.
That is.
It is.
No, but how creative.
And some stinging and burning.
Yuhan says,
would the bands be right to left or up and down?
That's
surely it would have to be a cross like that.
Not necessarily. I mean, you would have to get really small, those little small hair divider thingies, and then you'll have to
It's a-
separate them each. You could go long ways. That would actually be pretty impressive. And then you could trim it. When
Well, if you're
get to
die,
gonna if you're
you
gonna
could
do it
trim
yourself,
and
I would
look
think
like
it'd be
that.
easier to lay it out if you're vertically if you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, vertically,
Because the whole-
yeah. But
because
then
the
you could
whole
have a
thing-
pube party, a dying pube party. You know, where
Because
you
the-
invite everybody over and you just color each other's pubes, and you know.
I think Mel's waiting for an invite. Sorry, go on.
Gives a whole new meaning to the phrase "taste the rainbow."
But that was good, Sofa. Actually, that was impressive.
Uhan says Republicans assume I'm Democrat and Democrats assume I'm a Republican. I'm neither.
Oh my goodness.
See, he's been here for 5 minutes and people are saying he's funny. That's terrible. You should do it as a job.
Sofa hasn't answered yet.
I know.
No, I haven't. This is awkward because I've had longer than most to think about an answer because but Andy kind of stole my answer when he said that people assume that he's a Republican. I was going to say people assume that I'm a Tory, which is a similar thing. But people do assume that I'm posh because I have a southern accent. I suppose I'm a little bit posh,
You're very posh.
but not really.
You've got a different southern accent than I have. I've got like a little bit of like a farmer type of southern accent. Whereas,
You've got a commoner's accent.
Yeah.
He's got.
Are you from Wiltshire or Bristol?
Hampshire.
Oh, Hampshire. Okay. I'm from the southeast. You see, I'm from the home counties.
People that think they're better than us.
Exactly, we are better.
Oh my gosh.
Where are you living now? The height of class, I believe.
Now I'm living in Leeds, up north. And
Oop,
how I
north.
got up here,
Is it oop? Do you say oop? Or you
up
say
north. Yeah, it's grim up north.
oop
How I
north?
got up here is another story for another day.
up to north. Yeah.
Yeah. Normally we don't let
Yeah,
Southerners in. They get beaten up when they get sometime around Birmingham and sent home.
Well. Here's the difference between north and south. You can see a black sofa and myself having at least, if not intelligent conversation, fathomable, conversation. And up north you've got stool.
Yeah. And she probably.
There's the difference there.
I'm saying nothing.
You spent enough years in the south of England that we were, you've got somewhat educated. It's going to the north. It's a bit like doing missionary work. You see.
Do they feel that way in Manchester? My Professor Brian is up in Manchester, and we can't be hating on my Professor Brian now.
That's very close to Stool, actually.
It is very close to Stool. Stool says, translate the Southerners for me. Ox says, funny to hear about the UK talk about north-south. Apart from the fact that our south is meant to be the posh, decent people. Yes. And our north is meant to be the good, salt of the earth, working class people.
Well, then you come to the U.S. and our south. Our south thinks we're the best in the world and has the highest rate of illiteracy, racism, all kinds of stuff. And, but they hold on to those old traditional values. Ironically, the Southern
Don't forget
accent.
abortion.
Wait a minute.
Right.
You want to know about we need to ask Andy about them. He's the expert.
Oh, he's the expert of the South? Okay, go for it, Andy.
Well, I am here in New England, and I think anyone outside of New England is a bit suspicious, to tell you the truth.
That's fair.
Did you grow up in New England?
Yeah. Yeah, of course I traveled.
How did you avoid the accent?
Speech impediment when I was young, and so I had speech therapy, and so I still have the accent, particularly when I'm drinking. Mm-hmm. But right now I'm on my best behavior.
But I have to ask you. So, do you go out?
Are you?
What?
I was going to ask him a question that he might find often because he's in New England. So how often do you go out on lobster boats, and do you catch your own lobsters?
I do. Well, I'm a vegetarian, and I don't want to say that I'm a vegetarian with my nose up in the air. I just became a vegetarian maybe about 4 months ago. My girlfriend's a vegetarian too, but she does eat lobster. Mm-hmm. So we went up to Maine she went up to Maine with me. You mean
you're not from Maine? I thought all New Englanders were from Maine and hung out at Martha's Vineyard.
Maine was once owned by Massachusetts.
Ah, okay.
For an extensive period of time. Mm. And so I've been on whale watch. I've never gone lobstering myself, no.
Mm. Then I have to question your New England status, because us here in the South, we don't necessarily believe in the New Englanders unless they out going and getting their own lobster and stuff. I'm just.
Do you get your own?
What's the point of them if they're not getting their own lobsters?
Mel, do you catch your own crayfish?
Sometimes I do. They form like little huts in my yard. Just go over there and stick my hand in and pull them out if I really wanted to.
I don't want to speak for all New Englanders, but I'm going to speak for all New Englanders right here and say that if the South forgets that we exist, that's okay with us.
That's fair. I wish I didn't exist in the South, but I do. So here we are. By the way, my neighbor still has a Trump flag out, and so I put my Biden sign out just to make him mad.
Excellent.
Uhan says, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I now live in South Carolina. From time to time, I basically talk real fast with a slight southern twang.
But you should have waited till nighttime and put the Biden sign in his yard.
I probably still do that. And by the way, I did install cameras on my house because I was legitimately concerned that somebody was going to come by and vandalize my house because I have a Biden sign.
Well, there's a lot of videos out there and a lot of reports of signs being destroyed and abused coming up to the election. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I mean, I posted it after he won, just to rub the salt.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's because you wouldn't dare have put it before, given where you live.
No, my mom lives across the street and is worried.
I hope you wrote. Actually, I hope you go out and write on it, President.
President Biden and Vice President Harris. Yay! I should have a block party and invite all of my neighbors and be like, we're having a block party for the inauguration. Free hot dogs. Come on. All of these people on my street would show up for free hot dogs and beer. And it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter if it's Biden and Harris. Oh, they're giving us free hot dogs because they just want to eat food because they're mostly Baptist.
Oh, Baptist, yeah.
They're mostly all Baptists. All they do is eat.
I was brought up Baptist, but we were the non-treacherous Baptists during the war.
Yeah, we have to eat every Wednesday night at church Baptists that I live with. So
that seems very odd.
Pork chops at 4:00.
Yeah. But it was a great way to get out of actually having to sit during the sermon if you're one of the ladies that was forced into the kitchen. So you could just not have to sit there. You could just go, hey, I'm going to go help cook. You do that gender role. Great. Not going to sit in church. Losers.
Mel, did you give an actual answer?
I'm sorry, I did not. And I just hijacked the entire conversation. So I apologize for that. My answer because I'm the chemist and everything. Hey, do you make meth? Like Breaking Bad? Do you know how to make meth? There's that. And oh my God, when you say I have this sore on my side. Could you look at it? Because you know science, right? Look at this. Does this look? So teaching high school, I got both I used to teach high school. I got, oh my God, do you know how to make meth? And also, hey, does this look like it's infected? I'm a chemist, not a medical doctor. Please go to your doctor. And no, I don't make meth.
The answer is always,
yeah.
you know, that looks like cancer. You should go see your doctor.
Like, you probably have 2 days to live. I've actually done that a couple times because I thought it would be funny, but
It is.
I have 2 days to live. You should go to the doctor.
It's only if she actually gets cancer, then she might have to resort to cooking meth. If American TV has taught us anything.
Oh, Heisenberg. What a great name, too.
Great name.
Uncertainty principle.
Right. Next question.
Hey, you didn't ask me for an answer.
Did you not answer? Oh, I'm
No.
really sorry. What's your answer?
I always wait till you ask.
Oh. What's your answer?
Well, it's kind of a toss-up. They always assume that I've reformed since I got out of prison for the murder charge.
Okay. I never thought
so
that.
that's real annoying that they assume that. And then they
That's
make
how you got out.
Then they make assumptions about my genitals, and we can stop there.
You say we don't need to make assumptions. You talk about them.
Not to everyone.
Dave,
Yes.
you haven't answered, have you?
No.
You have not, Dave.
Oh, people seem to make this assumption over and repeatedly that I have any clue that I know what I'm doing. Ever.
It's not.
Who makes that assumption?
I would have thought it'd be. I would have thought it'd be the assumption that people think you have no body and that you're just a floating head.
I thought he was pretty smart when I first met him.
Exactly. It's a terrible assumption. Right, next question. Question 1343. If you agreed a secret password with a loved one, would you believe an afterlife was true if a psychic revealed it to you?
What on earth?
That's a good question.
So you come up with purple hippopotamus 17. And you only tell this to your best friend. You agree that you will contact the psychic after they're dead. And the psychic tells you the password.
See, I would most likely tell the psychic before I died. Just to fuck with them.
That's like the joke where somebody was like, you can pay me $30 and I will show up to your funeral dressed in like this gown and this, I'll be this weird person that's hiding in the back with the umbrella, sobbing uncontrollably that nobody knows. So you'll be the mysterious person in this random individual's life to give it a little bit of a mystery, you know? Have you never heard that?
That's a great idea.
I do like the idea.
A good psychic would be able to like fish it out of you without you realizing you're giving the answer. That's what a good combat or psychic should be able to do.
See, John Edwards blocked me on Twitter because I did an episode on my show about that type of grift and how easy it is to manipulate people to get them to give you the answers and to make you believe. So no, if somebody was like, oh, hey, this was the password, I'd be like, there's different ways that you can look at a person. If you spend a bit of time with them, you ask them a certain amount of fact-finding questions to kind of get a baseline. You can sort it out a little bit if they are able to buy into your grift a little early on. Then you're able to give them other types of validating answers. I'm like, okay, well then I'm picking up that it had to do with your favorite. I have like a color in my head. What was your favorite color? And then you can just piece it all together and say, oh, I've got this word. Oh, this is it. Oh my God, you're a psychic. Take $100. It's just, but yeah, John Edward got mad at me on Twitter because of that.
Like, I sense Does anyone know someone letter beginning with M? Does that mean the letter M mean anything to you?
It's over this area over here with
Yeah.
about 60 people.
Yeah. I could actually I think I'm not sure if I told this story on here before or not. I think I may have done, but my ex actually dragged me to a spiritualist church one time, and the guy did like the worst cold reading act on me ever. He got one thing right about me, which was the first thing he got right. He said, I have a feeling you have something to do with motorcycles. He says this to the guy with the long hair, at the time full beard, leather jacket, and so I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't look like the stereotype at all, but he just then everything else he tried on me, he just got wrong, and I more or less just exposed him for being a charlatan in front of it. But this is the thing, that all those like spiritualists there, they're not angry at him for being a fraud. They're pissed off at me for making them look bad.
I was
Shoot the
debunking.
messenger.
I was debunking my
this-
sister on
Yeah.
Facebook, and she just started deleting my posts in response to hers. When I gave up on Facebook. That's when. Ox says no. Brian Buck says no. I would suspect foul play. Dr. Osiris says I'd be more convinced they were a damn good hacker, and then wondering why they're wasting their time pretending to be psychic. Yandiri says I guess. Purple says I want a ventriloquist at my funeral, so when people walk up to my casket, I can respond. I do like the idea of having a tape in my coffin that plays after the funeral.
You like that?
I
you
want
like
one
that
that-
guy in Ireland did?
I want one that
Yes.
activates when you close the top and it starts yelling, "Let me out."
Oh my god.
That's great.
What happened. That was that famous clip last year, wasn't it? The guy in Ireland, just as they're lowering him into the ground, you start hearing this knocking on there, like, "Help! Let me out! It's fucking dark in here."
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh
It was
no.
it was a news story. The guy just went through this whole 10-15 minute routine of all these I'm trapped in here type jokes. And the people viewing his funeral were just falling down laughing. It was so good.
He had a reputation of being a bit of a prankster in life, I think. It was just like one last little joke to play on the way out.
Nice.
Well, we have lost a load of answers because it skipped over. There we go. Right. Chad, I wouldn't tell them anything. I would assume if God would allow comms, they would convey the information needed to them. For me, I can say that 2 specific names and 1 specific number, and I'm in. So would any of you actually believe them?
If in all seriousness, if I had the feeling that I could absolutely trust the partner that I shared it with, I don't think I would automatically believe in an afterlife, but I would have to put some serious thought to it. I understand how psychics work and mentalists and stuff like this, but if they randomly came up with this thing that we had agreed on, it would definitely make me think.
If I told the person the word just before they died, and it's just me and that other person, and then I walk into the mentalist, and they, I don't know what they did. They do they sacrifice the chicken and look at the entrails. I'm not sure how that works out. I've never been to a mentalist, but and then they just say, like, straight out with no patter whatsoever. They just say, "Hello, Andy Hall, spoon." And I say, "Okay, I don't know how you know my safe word, but that just happens to be the word also." The code word there. That would be a little bit more impressive. That would make me think about it.
If they said that word, but then said it in a there was an uppercase letter and a number on there, I'd be very impressed. If they got that. So
S_POON_123.
yeah. I'd be more impressed with the psychic then.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you see that because it could be like having trouble getting into the afterlife. Like click this so you can reset your password.
Oh my goodness. Just as an aside, if you hadn't read the Nag Hammadi, which are Gnostic texts that weren't incorporated into the Bible, there's the Gospel according to Mary Magdalene. It reads like an oral story, by the way. There are no breaks, so eat something, and if you're going to read one of the chapters, if you get lost halfway through, you're going to have to start over. It's exhausting. Anyway, apparently Jesus told all the passwords to Mary Magdalene to heaven because there's different levels and they have bosses. So it's like reading like a gamer's guide to heaven, which is cool. I'm just like, okay, when you reach this door, you will encounter this creature, and it's like a boss. Speak this word, and they will let you in. And so I'm
why don't you design that into a video game? That sounds fun.
That would be cool. Passwords to heaven. And if you don't have the password, and so when Mary Magdalene came out after Jesus and all that stuff, and they were like, and Jesus said, "Don't tell them what we said."
This sounds even better than like the Dungeons and Dragons game that me and Ring come up with.
You could title it "Go to Hell."
Well, what was funny was, because men were assholes then, and kind of sometimes are still. So when Mary came out, she's like, "Well, Jesus told me not to tell you." He was like, "Well, you're just a stupid woman. You don't know anything anyway." And I'm like, she literally has the passwords to heaven, and they're like, it was whatever, There was like 7 or 8 of them or something. It's in my book over there, I guess.
What would you do if you like forgot halfway through?
I know, that's a problem, isn't it? When you're dead, can you retain memory of the passwords?
They probably said she can't have the passwords to heaven because if she's a woman, because she's a woman, and her being a woman, if she had them, she'd write it all down on Post-it notes for us.
Oh, just on her forearm would be good.
Just so the men can remember.
It's like when you get to this one that looks like a rhino, you say this word. Okay, you got that, and it's like it's the weird. It's like a mind-bending weird read, man. Y'all check it out. It's short.
The words to angels are the words angelic names that get her into a different level of heaven.
It kind of, I could go get the book and read it, but I think that would bore everyone. But it's like you speak this, and it's like some Aramaic looking word, and then you say this word, and then they let you in.
Biblical cheat code stream.
It is. It's like reading a cheat code guide to a video game. It's weird.
Gospel of Mary Magdalene on Twitch. I could see that working.
Yeah.
What else did she get up to?
Do what?
What else did she get up to?
Well, that's all that was. The Gospel according to Mary Magdalene was literally just the conversation she had with Jesus. And I think it's like 2 or 3 pages long. It's not very long at all. But my God, you go read the Apocryphon of Peter, the Gospel according to Thomas, you're gonna be up. And I had to go back and reread it a few times because it lost me halfway through, and it'd be like crap, and then you got to go back and try to read it again.
And so the passwords were what? Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Yeah, they were like that, except really weird words that I don't remember off the top of my head.
Dr. Cyrus says the best code phrase ever was "I'm getting fed up with this orgasm."
I saw that.
I'm getting fed up with this orgasm. Yeah, I think I might have said that once.
Was it to a psychic?
No.
If the psychic was any good, but the psychic would have known that already.
It's like you're quite tired of this. Yes, I am. Thank you.
Mike.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because of the law of averages and statistics and chance, and I think I'd be skeptical. I'd be skeptical. I wouldn't believe that she got it from the spirits. It was just I would think it was just a lucky guess, and leave it there.
So simply, not one person would believe.
What about you, Dave?
Oh, not a chance in hell. I call shenanigans. Shenanigans! Shenanigans!
Shenanigans.
Right. Next question. Question 1344. Given the current climate, do you think religion should or even could be banned?
Well, to answer whether or not it could be banned, there have been governments that have banned religion before.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, for that kind of thing to happen, you have a host of other problems.
Yeah.
like the cure is worse than the actual disease in a lot of ways.
The problem is, it seems you've got to have a religion. You seem to be able to ban religion if you have a religion. As in, you can ban all the others and enforce the one. That seems to work.
Mm.
But getting rid of all of them doesn't seem possible. Ox says, should, yes, could, never. Doorknob says, shouldn't and couldn't. But it should be.
I look at every attempt to ban religion that I've known of in history, and not one has been successful. I just can't imagine that you could actually accomplish it. There's too many people with too many weak minds that have to have a religion for them to be able to cross the street.
Chad says, no and no, independence of thought is critical. You think we have independence of thought generally?
I think that's probably a failure of, at least in the U.S., the education system. We don't teach critical thinking here in the U.S.
Religion doesn't approve of it.
Right.
I think to get on to refer back to Jonathan Swift there in Gulliver's Travels. If we got rid of religion today, our crazy tribalism would morph into something like the big enders versus the little enders. Like people would be getting into wars about what side of the soft-boiled egg you crack.
Yes.
Well, the big end.
You're a big ender.
The air pocket always goes there, and it's easier to peel.
You're weird.
Mm-hmm.
The little end is always the right way to go.
Depends on how you're eating. If you're going for a hard-boiled egg, I like the bottom, but anywhere can accomplish it.
I
If
mean,
you're going for a soft-boiled egg, you better do the top because you want to eat out of that thing.
Oh, she's a centrist. You never trust the centrists.
Oh, centrist. Boo.
I do agree that people will find a reason to fight over anything. I mean, have you seen the U.S.? I
still can't get over how the U.S. has got the last has moved to where it has in this level of hatred on the sides in such a short period of time.
It was always there. That's the thing. It was always there. It's just they have been given permission to behave like a bunch of douche canoes. Like racist, horrible, poop-spackled fart muppets. They're now being told, oh, it's okay to be this horrible human being, so go out and be horrible to everybody. And they're like, oh, yay, I finally feel accepted in my society as being a horrible human being. So let me act that way now because it's okay. It's always there. It has always been there.
Jen says, politics, at least how I have seen it portrayed from America, is borderline a religion in its own right. And not even in terms of the very line of Christianity.
American patriotism, right-wing patriotism is a religion.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
It's like the football. The Republicans are like, this is my team. I always vote for my team. I don't care if they're a bunch of wife beaters, but I'm always going to show up to that game and I'm always going to be there for my team. That's how, at least in the South, they treat politics like they do Friday Night Lights, like freaking football playing.
But the football is also a sex object to them.
Probably, so they can swat each other on the butts and talk about how, hey, it's all repressed sexuality in all forms in the southern
It's
U.S.
so they can have all the homoeroticism without it being gay.
Which, by the way, that is the number one thing. Homosexual porn is the number one thing that's like searched for in the South.
In terms of porn. That's
in terms of porn, yes.
Is it really?
But they go shopping
Yes.
as well and things like that.
Super repressed.
Jen says, we lost it. Ox says, not so much ban it, but more like restrict its power in government. The problem I have with that is, they restricted its power in government in the States, and it works out a way to bypass those restrictions.
Yes.
To
Wait,
morph itself.
are we talking about religion now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jen says, the only way religion could be banned is if you give something different for people to idolize or worship.
Yeah, I think the way forward is pretty clear. If you make a society that's not so miserable, people won't become religious as often. Less miserable societies have lower religiosity.
Religion is indoctrination from childhood.
And even
Not
here
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Even here in the States, when you have and I'm going to pull out my New England supremacy card here, is that New England, we're a wealthy area in the country. We're well educated in comparison to the rest of the country, and we're just less religious than a lot of areas in the other country. And I think if you go to Europe too, the same principle holds: is that you have the Nordic countries that are very good healthcare systems. They have good education systems. People feel safe, and when you feel safe, you don't think a lot about God.
That's, and to be fair, to kind of piggyback a bit on that, in the South, you can throw a rock and hit a church, like in any direction. And a lot of the times that's so ingrained in the culture here, whenever there's nothing to do. And if you were poor, you'd go to the church and they'd feed you. If you're poor, if you couldn't afford a gym membership, guess what? There's a mega church down the street that has a gym and you can go for free. You can put your kids there. You got Mother's Day out. So if you're broke and you have nothing, you go to the church and they give you stuff. And that's what a lot of people do out here. And the thing that makes me mad where I live, the smaller churches, they had an ordinance recently in the main city close to where I live, where the smaller churches were no longer allowed to house the homeless during the wintertime. They had to be a certain amount of square footage in order to accept homeless people into their doors. And the smaller churches were the only ones that were doing that. Yeah. The big mega churches, do you think they let homeless people sleep in there?
Oh, hell no.
Now
we have
why would you want the homeless people there?
I know. We have like a church that we call Six Flags Over Jesus out here. It's bigger than a mall. The church is bigger than the largest mall, probably in the state. They have gold-plated columns. Their senators and representatives go to church there. Do you think that they don't let the homeless people sleep there? They have like all kinds of little programs for their wealthy people, but only the mega churches are now allowed to house the homeless, and they don't do it.
Well, Joel Osteen in Texas,
exactly what I was about to say. Yeah,
did not allow people who were put out of their homes from the flood to go into his church until the media got it.
Yeah, he did eventually. He had to be dragged kicking and screaming into doing that.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly true. And the funny thing about his church, it used to be a stadium for sports.
Used to be the Houston Summit, didn't it?
Yeah. And so the taxpayers paid to build that. And so he actually, he didn't have to pay. He got it at like really low market price. And so the taxpayers actually paid for the church that he uses.
I'm guessing that happens far more often than we would like to know. Godless says, yes, but most people love being told what to think and how to feel. Disturbingly, a lot of people do.
Yeah, they do.
It's easier.
It is easier. Dr. Osiris says, when I'm emperor, the teacher always rings the bell to let us know when playtime is over. I'm confused by that. Chad says, I'm a teacher. I teach critical thinking. I can't speak for others. You are also not a teacher in America.
Teach a bunch of farm kids evolution in the Bible Belt and let me know how that goes. 'Cause I done it. I was considered a pretty effective teacher. Believe it or not, somehow I managed that, but that's okay. They still use the tests that I wrote, guys, so that's kind of cool.
Does it have any questions about God?
No, but according to the state, you can teach creationism alongside evolution as scientific fact.
Yeah, but most people are scared to teach evolution in the southern states of America.
The thing is the end of course exams that are 50% of their evaluation, they don't talk about creationism, so none of the teachers really do that because it's not on the test.
It's not that creationism is being taught though; it's that they're scared to teach evolution.
They are scared to teach evolution, and then they'll sit there and say, I don't believe in this either, but you got to learn it. So many freaking teachers out here do that.
Well, there is an organization called TIES, the Teachers Institute for Evolutionary Studies. It's and they are a group of teachers led by teachers to help people in the classroom to teach evolution.
Amanda Glaze, I don't know if you guys follow her on Twitter. She's Evo PhD. Her whole research is nothing but bridging the gap between religious obstacles in teaching evolution. She's amazing. She's great.
But you get into certain parts of the states. It's just what I've heard. But you've got some kids who are almost taught to disrupt the class if evolution's being taught.
They become martyrs.
Yeah.
They do.
They become martyrs. That actually happened to me when I was teaching evolution. My first year teaching biology, boy, that was a gauntlet. So my first year, I had the martyr that would stand up and start screaming and hollering about Jesus. And I actually had atheist students in the classroom who complained about that. So I couldn't win either way. So it was either have the martyr kid, and then somebody posted a sign about atheism on my board and I didn't see it right away. And it was basically a meme against atheists. And when an atheist kid saw it, so I got called in the office over the atheist kid, but not the martyr kid.
Of course.
And I'm like, I didn't put that there. So, and I wasn't going to say, by the way, I'm not religious either. Because I was teaching. And I had a boss that said, well, we need to teach evolution so they know what we're fighting against. I actually had a principal say that.
I am happy for them to learn it for that reason. As long as they teach evolution properly. It's the one thing that really annoys me, the talking on Twitter, the people that are arguing against evolution have zero fucking clue what evolution is.
Yeah.
I didn't learn it in high school. I didn't learn it until I got into college. I got into college and I took a class on evolution, and every question I ever had about the origin of life was completely answered in one course. And I'm like, why did nobody explain this to me? Because nobody would. Nobody ever did. They just don't do it out here.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
It is. Slightly back to the question.
Probably is.
Anyway.
Sorry. Oh, go on.
Yeah, well, but back to the question. In China, I don't think they made Christianity illegal outright. But what they did do, they put restrictions on it.
Yes.
In the state church, they weren't allowed to preach, for example, that Jesus was coming back. And what happened was it just pushed Christianity underground. And these home churches, these secret home churches, spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
And I think that is what would happen if you try to make religion illegal in any way or restrict it in any way. It would just go underground. You wouldn't get rid of it altogether.
That would be fine if it just gets the hell out of public life and trying to push itself upon everybody.
Well, apart from the fact that there is a certain amount of evidence that suggests that Christianity was in no small part or helped in a reasonable degree the fall of the Soviet Union, because it kept this underpinning of secrecy to society by missionaries going in and maintaining this religion, this secret order, that was, and I knew it went on, but I did not realize just how widespread it was.
You know, it seems to me that Christians in Christianity, whether it's Catholicism or any one of the Protestant sects, they like to take credit for things that they had little to do with.
Yeah, they do.
The biggest enemy of the Soviet Union was the Soviet Union.
Yes,
And the incompetency of the Soviet Union.
No, I don't disagree with that.
I'll be right back. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Everyone's dropping.
I guess it's potty break time.
It is. We'll do the chat quickly. Dr. Asara says, religion needs to be put behind us, in my opinion. It's done nothing but cause problems for everyone. In order to progress as an intelligent society, we can't allow fantasies to distract that. I totally agree, but I don't think you can do it by force.
No.
Is the problem. And I think it's got to be done by education, but right now we're letting... I mean, the US, we have what is technically the most powerful country in the world that is letting a group of literal, backwards fundamentalists define education policy for the entire country through the back door.
I would even say education is secondary to having a good healthcare system, healthcare for all, everyone having a good job, people having money in their pocket, not being afraid of bankruptcy. I'd say that those are more important things to do. And this might be heresy, secular heresy, I'm saying. But
I think you might. I promise I don't disagree in a short term.
Yeah.
I think that you take away the need for you take away the need for hope. And I don't mean that sounds nasty. If you
it goes back to the old
desperation.
It goes back to the old Karl Marx quote about the religion being the opium of the people, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, to be quite honest, when I was brought up Nazarene, and I've told people that in the past. If you haven't checked that out, go check out that lovely, almost cult-like division of Christianity. And I found it to be a comfort. I mean, I came from a single parent home. My parents split. My dad left. He took the money with him. I mean, it was terrible. So my mom had to raise 3 kids on a minimum wage job, which had she worked in travel. And so when you have nothing, it's always nice to have like, oh, well, God's looking out for you. Yeah. God's going to make this better. God's going to help you. And so you have that reinforced to you when you're living in poverty. We had insurance, healthcare insurance. So going back with what Andy's saying here, but we never went to the doctor because we couldn't afford it. Because there was always the copays, then there was the deductibles on top of that. So if you got sick, it was going to be at great cost. There were times when I was in high school, my mom had to take my car to work because we didn't have enough money put in the gas tank. Sure. And I had to ride the bus to school then instead of taking my brother and sister to school and all that. So it was like when you have that growing up practically in poverty and all you have is, well, God's looking out for you. You're strong. He's testing you. This is to make you strong. This is to make you who you are. And you're going to be proud of what you, I have had to work for everything I've ever gotten, everything. And people are like, well, you're a college professor now. Like, yes, but you have no idea what I had to do to get here. So it's like, I owe more than my house on student loans, to be quite frank. Let's be honest here. My mortgage is less than my student loans right now. And
very believable. Yeah.
So it's like, and it is even, my mortgage has a lesser interest rate. So we screw poor people all the time. Yeah. And so, but if all you have, and you don't have mental health, anything. I had anxiety and depression when I was a kid. Well, probably not depression, but I had horrible anxiety. I still have anxiety, but I have a doctor now because I can afford it. So It's like, but yeah, the healthcare thing is important. People need to be able to eat food that is good for them, nutritious food. We don't need food deserts. Education comes after that. And there's a lot of studies to show that students who eat well perform better in school.
Very much so.
Yeah. So it's like
2 seconds.
Got all of that.
Thank you very much, Jen.
Communist.
Just string me up on the street. They'll all pay for it. You guys could sell tickets.
Food. It's novel. But yes, I mean one of the things that was shown to improve the results in the UK were breakfast clubs.
Yeah.
The schools that fed you go in an hour before and they give you a decent breakfast.
Yeah, they do that up here too in
But the worst thing is it seems that religion wants to get in on that, and they'll provide that, and they'll preach to you at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a mess. It's a hot mess, guys.
I missed something. I missed a shitload, but I wanted to know what this was. Never Again says, stop paying federal officials for life and give them free healthcare unless everyone else has it. I think them having access to things that the median does not have.
It's Downton Abbey, guys. The U.S. is Downton Abbey. And by the way, I've been binge watching that because I finally was able to watch it without going to sleep. So...
See, you can now know that I don't sound posh.
You do not sound posh, by the way.
Exactly. I don't sound anything like posh.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, but we have a class system. We do have a class system in the U.S., and that's very, very plain. And you know, and it's reinforced. I mean, it just is. You go to the South, you see the class system everywhere. It's people with the nice houses come from the old money. We have the old money and the new money. I don't know if y'all know those terms, old money and new money. Yeah. She's new money, bless her heart.
The nouveau riche.
Yeah.
Bless her heart. That's great. That's great.
Or in her current
I cannot
song,
believe she wore them shoes after Labor Day, bless her heart. Oh, God.
Or in her current song, the line, there's only so far new money can go.
New money and old money. They still do that in the South, man.
So
They
we're pretty much
do that
screwed.
pretty much everywhere. There's old money and new money.
Yeah. We are screwed. We are screwed until we meet the needs, the basic needs of everyone.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. I mean, we have to meet the basic needs of everybody. And we are in a place to where we can do that, and we're not doing it because people are jerks.
Socialist.
just to put that
here in the States, we've created a system that incentivizes bad behavior, and it's been like that at least for the last 40 years. So it should be no surprise that we're the mess that we are in, because once again, the system incentivizes bad behavior.
It does.
It's the ultimate incentive that the worst behavior we've ever seen in an adult has gotten. Fucking president. For Christ's sake.
And then Brett Kavanaugh. Guys, I just got drunk, and I was at a party just like he always do. You know, all about then that kid, that Brock Turner kid, man, his dad's like, why ruin his life over 5 minutes of action? And I'm like,
boof this, Brock.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna call this question. Basically, we're stuck on we can't ban religion, so we're screwed.
We can't ban religion.
I did not actually answer this.
So the answer to the question
No.
is, should it be? Yes. Can it be? No.
Go on, Jeff. If you've got another one-word answer, given you weren't here for the start.
Okay, it shouldn't be banned. Quite frankly, they thrive enough on acting like they're persecuted already without actually fucking persecuting them.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to know how much you could restrict religion in terms of.
It's a war on Christmas over Starbucks cups. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I mean, look what Russia did about a year and a half ago with the JWs. They pretty much banned it over there. That's not making it. If it's not going to make Jehovah's Witnesses go away in Russia. It's going to make them more fervent.
I think you can do away with the organisations.
I'd love to get rid of. I'd love to do away with organised religion, but it's
not going to happen.
It's not going to happen realistically.
And then the people in where I live, and I saw somebody had said, Sam said Christians more often than not always vote Democrat. Not where I live, and they all have guns. Yeah. So I'm just like, they put them in their trucks.
Right.
I'm not armed to the teeth like my neighbors are.
Christians, on the latest stats are Christians are more likely to vote Republican. That doesn't mean to say that the majority of Democrats aren't Christian as well. It's just
Well, I think it's important to point out Christians and Catholics to play on play on how some people perceive Catholics and Christianity. I heard, I think it was from 538 podcast, that if a presidential candidate is Catholic, like it was with Joe Biden, even Republicans who are Catholic will vote more for the other party.
Yes, he did. Didn't see the outer, but the polls going into it they were going to.
Well, for a long
wouldn't
time, a
normally.
Catholic could not get elected in America.
I just feel Chad's pointed out something very important in the chat. He feels like he's learning something.
No, we're not allowed to do that. This is not an educational show.
We have a very strict rule about not being educational here.
No, next question. Right. Question 1345. In your humble opinion, what is the worst job in the world? You know, the one you would never debase yourself by doing.
Hosting an internet panel question show.
You so would.
Can I just talk about the worst job that I ever had? Can I just talk about that? The worst job that I ever had? It was 2 weeks.
Briefly.
Okay, briefly, and then I'll shut up, and then I'll go run away. I'm sorry. I've railroaded this. I'll just play with my molecules after this, so it's fine. Okay. I got on a soapbox, guys. I had been like streaming for 2 weeks in a Hijack Dave show. He's never going to ask me again. I'm sorry. Okay.
No wonder it says telemarketing. I've done that.
It was telemarketing, but it was for cemetery plots.
Oh!
While I was at a funeral home and at the cemetery.
Oh my God!
That. This is the problem. I think I would love that job.
Oh my God! We had to take a break every hour to get in a good mood. Because we had a 10-minute break every hour after we were calling through like the blue book, trying to set up an appointment for somebody to go to somebody's house, one of our salespeople to go to somebody's house and sell them a cemetery plot package.
Did you have like a list? Do you have a list of people by age as well, or not?
No, it was just and we weren't allowed to make appointments with anybody who had apartments. It had to be like homeowners. So there was even classism there, man. So it was just like, man. And then you have to go outside. And so we would leave our telemarketer room and go outside, which was the cemetery. And then you're sitting out there and there's all the plots and stuff. And then, of course, there are people coming in crying because there was dead folks because the place was there where they could have the service. So it was like counterproductive to even have the break.
Yeah.
Worst job I ever had, for real.
Jen says retail. I think she means anything in retail. And Brainbug's shouting at me. Apparently I'm a bigot. Because I let you teach things and not him.
You are a bigot, Dave. You know, do I got to whip out my beaver again?
Hey, Wally, let's see the beaver.
Julie says worst job.
Lord Beaver's so sad. Can you go talk to him?
Play with him for a few minutes. It'll cheer him right up.
That show.
Oh dear.
Julie says sewer worker who deals with the huge clogs in the sewers.
Oh God, that's almost taking my answer.
What's your answer, Jenny?
I now honestly feel so bad for these guys. The ones that have to go around and clean porta potties.
But do they clean them? I thought they just used a truck and
No, there's a guy who actually has to go in and suck out and refill and then spray it with like industrial steam and I know this because I used to work at a racetrack and I've seen so many of them done. Oh my God, I could never ever do that. I would just puke just thinking about it. I think I'm going to now.
That reminds me of National Lampoon's Christmas. The shooter was Paul Clark, and his brain shit everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
Ox says a judge. Jen says cleaning in general sucks, Nothing like cleaning shit stains of random crap shoveled in urinals day in and day out. See, I think cleaner might be worse than sewer. I mean, sewer worker, at least you know what you... Maybe, I don't know. Godless Sewing says, never lower myself to being a preacher or a church worker. Lone Wanderer says Nigerian scammer would be an awful job. Go on.
That preacher be a good job. That would be a well-paying job, though.
It probably
Really
would be.
good
You're good at it.
The tax breaks are good.
The worst job I ever had, I was 18 years old working at an all-night gas station. And you can probably see where this is going. I got held up twice at gunpoint.
In the same night?
No, a couple of days later by the same gentleman.
By the same gentleman.
And you called him a gentleman. How nice of you.
Well, you know,
He had to cut. You called him whatever you want.
about 10 minutes of stand-up based on my experiences of getting robbed.
Would you please kindly empty the motherfucking tills? Sort of, yeah. See, you'd be a gentleman about these things.
And so it was only when I was assaulted by a coworker. I didn't even quit after the 2 times I got held up. But it was when I got assaulted by a coworker, that's when I decided to leave.
What'd they do? They punch you?
Well, they kept on trying to shake me down for money for the till. I locked them out of my little veal pen of an area, and then they just broke the glass. I was actually reading Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide, and I'm reading my book, hoping that they go away, and they just smashed.
What?
Was that your coworker?
This is a coworker, yeah.
Smashed the glass and came after you?
Well, you know, the funny thing about it is that she smashed the glass, and she was, and you know, it was all over me basically, and then I had to, and then she calmed down shortly afterwards. But I consider that to be assault. And then she threatened me, of course, afterwards when she was at the police station.
You were clearly asking for it. What were you wearing?
He's dressed in his Republican suit.
I was in my classic wrong place at the wrong time and poor life choices. That's what I was dressed in.
If you didn't want that to happen, why did you go there? Julie said that Godless Engineer's wife is out of hospital, which is fantastic news.
Good. That's good news.
Oh, good.
She's been in with COVID for 3 or 4 days. She was saying this morning if she hadn't gone into A&E when she did, she wouldn't have survived.
Right, okay. Yeah, get well soon. Get well soon, Casey. Anyway, so
very much so. Dr. Osiris says worst job, tax collector. Oh no, most hated job. Dawn Uphead says, people who have no humble opinions can't answer this question. Rigged quiz. Would you like a recount? It's not rigged.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Stop the count.
And then Jen says, honestly, to be honest, the number of times people in offices would leave little surprises everywhere. And bodily fluid and dry... Yeah, we don't need to know that.
No.
Oh, but it's true. People are just disgusting. I used to work at this camera store that had a processing lab, and I ran the lab. And so I was used to all the chemicals and all this kind of stuff, and we had the rubber gloves and all the protective garb and things, which meant that when some asshole comes into the publicly accessible bathroom and takes a shit in the
urinal,
in the waste basket instead
in
of
the trash. He pooped in the trash.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with people? It's
I don't know. It was 6 inches away from the toilet. It's bad aim.
I don't know what it is, but it's like I used to work at a formal wear store, and dudes would pee in the frickin' stall, in like the dresser stalls. But that was, even that's weird, but that is a common occurrence working retail. But the bride and groom having sex in the stall while he's trying on his tuxedo is probably, that's actually kind of impressive.
That seems
the changing
normal.
room stall or the bathroom stall?
No, it was in the changing stall. They were
that's different.
Sex in changing
But-
stalls is relatively normal.
but peeing in the changing stall.
No, that's not
weird.
normal at all.
I'm going to say, like, a job I wouldn't debase myself doing is be the guy who works in a porn theatre who has to go around mopping up the jizz afterwards.
Oh, that's right up there
Man,
too.
does he wear a
Randolph
biohazard
says-
suit, do you think?
Randolph says, in the trash, that's nothing. At one workplace I was at, someone used to defecate on the walls and managed to spray the ceiling once.
When I worked on a psych unit, we had a patient who developed explosive diarrhea and just plastered the wall. And housekeeping wouldn't clean it up. They said, we're not going to touch that.
Oh my god!
Guess who got to do it again?
That's where you just bring like a hose, you know.
So
Jeff.
that's what you get for getting on the chili juice, you see.
Enough of the shit.
Oh,
It's
God.
called
What job?
waterfalls, guys.
What job? Jeff.
I just said
What?
one I would not debase myself doing.
What's that?
Being the guy who works in the porn theatre who has to mop up
Oh,
the jizz.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I missed that. Mike.
But funny enough, though, that is one of my favourite insults to other people. That's their day job if they're a real arsehole. Just I don't know why.
Ricardo says, worse than doing calls in some of the call centres is having to audit said calls and listen to the shit agents talking about, I ran a call centre. It's just pure shit. At the same workplace, someone wrote death threats on the washroom wall once with blood. That doesn't sound like a healthy workplace.
No.
Mike!
Yes. Well, I had a friend once whose job it was to clean the railway track after someone had committed suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he enjoyed his work, funny enough. But,
Oh, look,
I'm
there's some
assuming he had a
brains
lovely
over
mental
here.
block.
Actual brains, guys.
but there's one job that I could never do. I could never do it myself.
It's the sad thing that the idea that some of these jobs you can end up doing this stuff and get totally desensitized to it.
Oh yeah.
But I think, yeah. Like I said, I'm assuming it's a bit like the Doctor. You've got to have this separation in your head.
I think
Yeah.
what I have to comment about the British folks in the tube when somebody jumps in front of a train. When I'm sitting on a train and they're like, "Oh, we've had an accident," almost everybody in the car goes, "Ah!
Yes.
Why do you have to go and jump in front of this train? It's gonna make me late." So it's just like, I'm sorry, that's not the appropriate thing to say. But it's almost like everybody in the car gets really mad. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I freeze?
No, you're
Nope.
fine.
No? You fine? Did you?
It's her. It's not us.
I froze.
You froze. Oh, shit. Right.
I think I'm back, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seemed like
Jenny, did you answer?
Yeah, I did. The porta potty.
Oh, you did? Right. You haven't lived until you've taken a mop to the wall behind a toilet. Ugh. No, that's okay. I had to clean my friend's husband's brain off the wall once. You people have done some really sick things. That was Harmonica Man. Right, I'm going to the next question. Penultimate question. Getting late. Question 1346. If you had to lose the ability to see red, green, or blue, which would you give up?
red, green, and blue. I want to see the sky and trees and lawn. I imagine if I was going to see, if I lost the ability to see red, it would just come out of gray. So
Yeah.
So I just have about a grey background behind me right now.
Yes, that's what I was...
Ironically, that wall over there is grey.
So it'd just be all grey.
Yeah, the wall I have in front of me is grey. So I've got two reds and two greys.
Yandiri says blue, I hate blue. Ox says blue. Blue light hurts my eyes. Lone Wanderer says blue. I need to not get tickets. A lot of people don't like blue.
I would go blue
because I don't like the colour of Tory rosettes.
How would you be able to tell the difference?
You'd knock out purple, which is a bad thing.
How would you tell the difference between UKIP and Tories?
And you would knock out like aqua, teal, that kind of stuff, and that's kind of okay too. But red and green, I think, are way too basic to like.
UHAD makes a good point. Whatever colour you pick, it will affect the other colours you see.
UKIPers are easy to identify. They've generally got YouTube channels.
You're saying I'm UKIP?
And nobody votes for them. Sargon.
That's far too much glee.
How did that running for office go for you?
Chad says
I did have to laugh. I've got to get this out there. When Adam Friended was saying something on Twitter, it's like laughing, ha ha, the election coverage, ha ha ha. Sargon's got more people watching his stuff live than the Young Turks have got, and I said, and I put ha ha ha. Sargon's got more people watching his election coverage than actually fucking voted for him when he stood for office.
Chad says green, it would maximise my dynamic range. Ricardo says red, I don't like red. Ooh, no matter what colour, no to that. Jen says green, I'm partial to purple these days. You were obsessed with green your entire life. Don't say that, we've got green gifts for you. Purple says dark greens, blues, black. Very difficult for me to discern. Oh, it's a trick question because you can't differentiate between green and blue. Dr. Cyrus,
but imagine if you lost green. How the springtime is so important to me because of green.
There's lots of other colours.
I can't get rid of. I'd struggle going to a football game again, chanting "Come on, you Reds!" if I couldn't see red.
Yeah, but it's just football. Who cares?
Yeah, that's that's another reason I want to get rid of blue. You see, so.
I'm not a big chanter. I feel chanting with, especially in a crowd.
You strike me as someone yet again that would an assumption about you that you would fit in at a baseball game chanting.
Nope. I feel that it would just be hacky and going with the crowd. I feel like I would need to be creative. I would need to artistically challenge myself in those kind of situations. And just going with the crowd would just make me feel dirty inside, to tell you the truth.
They obviously need more. See, they need more creative chants in American sports. So we're not bad. We're not bad at coming up with some good ones in the UK.
Jen, colour.
I guess I would. Can I pick yellow?
No. Don't be awkward. GeoSam says the blood of Christ is red, so red it is.
I would have to go blue. I need
You'll
green.
never see a blue sky again, or the blue ocean.
I know it's blue, and so that'd be okay because life is green. The renewal of life is green.
Doesn't bother me. We live in England, Dave. How often do we see a blue sky?
How often do we see green?
Yeah, you guys chopped down all your trees.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Mike,
you and Haiti. God.
If we got rid of blue, would I still have to hear that bloody awful song by Eiffel 65?
Yes, that's awesome.
God.
Can we just vote to get rid of that song?
No, that song is awesome. That song's on my workout playlist.
What song is this? I haven't heard somebody sing it to me.
I'm blue. You don't want me singing it, I don't think.
It's fucking awful.
It's great. Mel?
I think I would probably get rid of blue.
Yeah.
I think I probably would. Green and red, I think, are really important. Blue, Yeah, it would be really hard to like watch Doctor Who and stuff, but I think I could manage.
You've seen a grey TARDIS.
Well, I mean, I have a gray sonic screwdriver, right? It's like right here, so it's all right.
Nice.
Matt Smith's screwdriver, it'd look fine.
Yeah,
Oh, look, it look all gray because there's that blue color on it.
yeah, on the top, and you're like, yeah, it's all right. I'll survive.
You'll survive. Andy, you picked already, didn't you?
I picked red. Yeah,
You picked
yeah.
red.
I like this guy. I like grass.
See, red's danger in nature, but pretty much useless other than that. Red is the last one we got.
Yeah, but if you keep red and you keep green, you've got quite a bit of the spectrum: red, orange, yellow, green, and then you drop off from that point. And nobody sees indigo, anyways. So
Apparently, that doesn't look like a screwdriver. It never does. Randolph says, I'd lose blue and then wear blue blocking glasses to protect my eyes from the damage from blue light. I don't think you would get it. I think it would just be blocked already. Right. Last question. Then we can all escape.
blue can make your genitals shrink.
What?
Blue light. Look it up. Prove me wrong.
All you ladies wanting
Oh,
labiaplasties, just get some blue light and just shine it on where the sun
That's
don't
it. Makes those curtains shrink.
Oh my
Would this not
God.
just be simpler just to sun it and get the full range again then?
I wouldn't do that ever, because that's a great way to get horrible
because you're-
sunburn on your lady bits.
That's because you're a redhead and would instantly burst into flames.
No, for real. Look up perineum sunning. That was a thing,
Yeah.
and people were getting like horrible sunburns on their buttholes. So
If you're going to do it, please record it, although we only want the last minute or so.
There is a place you do not want blisters.
No.
Blue light
oh,
won't cause genitals to shrink if the light emanates from an attractive-looking person. This is Randolph. Okay. Right, last question. We are escaping. Question 1347. Would you rather be unable to speak and write or unable to read?
I'd rather not speak and write, because we have Stephen Hawking that can show us that we can do other things. We can do like different stuff. You know what I mean? He was able to like type things. We have like really awesome technology to where we can take different things. We can use thought and move stuff now through infrared technology. So I want to be able to read.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say the limit on it is you'd basically you could knock. The level of communication you could have is knocking or nodding your head or got nothing more meaningful. You'd have to be expand it out from there.
Oh
And
man,
just-
we
just
could
have
just
to
engineer the
learn Morse
crap out of
code.
that. Yeah, that's right. We
Yeah.
could just
No.
engineer the
That's
crap out of
entirely
it. It's fine.
possible.
I personally don't want to learn Morse code. I don't want to learn Morse code, so I'm going to go with, I guess I'm not reading. Everything's going to be books on audiobooks. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
That's fair too.
That's fair. That works.
That's fair.
Purple says
And if you
need both-
haven't read if you haven't had the Demon Haunted World on audiobook, read by Carrie Elways, it's a Carl Sagan book. I have
I
a
actually
very
have
hard.
the book here. I have the book somewhere here, but
Yes.
I haven't heard it.
But the audiobook is read by Carrie Elways, who is Wesley from The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Would this be no speaking and writing since you were born, or it happened suddenly?
No. The question was, I had to shorten it down. The question was that you lost these abilities. So you are a fluent reader, or you're a fluent talker, but you.
Andy
you
does
lost
pose
these
a good
abilities.
thing there, man. You can listen to books, man, because I tell you, I'm very happy when I listen to Carrie Elways reading Carl Sagan. I'm just saying. That works for me.
Purple says you have to both read and write to be able to use the internet. No, you don't need to be able to read to use the internet. You need to be able to write to communicate.
Don't tell that to the blind people who use the internet.
Yeah,
So-
for real.
So wait a minute. So I could read. Let's say, okay, so I could write, but I can't read my own writing. Is this how what's happened?
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
No, that's disturbing.
Wait a minute, that's not what the question
You haven't
said.
seen my handwriting.
I was going to say, my handwriting is... I've got notes over here I
Able to
can't
speak
read.
and write.
It's a communication question, basically. You would be unable to communicate in any normal dialogue. Anything you did would be a lot slower.
Well, that would probably make my job very hard.
I don't read the chat now. Randolph says, the question seems to have a logical problem. How can one write properly if they can't read what they just wrote? Millions of children manage it. Every single day. It goes from the teacher, through the children, onto the paper without pressing through the brain of either.
Oh my god! Can I sing my way through life instead? Says Kystra. Is it Kystra or Kistra?
I call her
don't
Jen.
know.
She's my daughter.
Oh my gosh! You know, we could do like totally in the form of musicals, musical expression
She would like that.
for the rest of
She
the
would
time.
love that. Did you see my... You don't anyway, my carols. She sang all my carols at Christmas.
Oh
I put
wow!
up. We've got read and write. You can still communicate with people directly and have someone read and write for you. Yes, you can. Julie protests the question. Why? Literacy is relatively new, so actually maybe sacking off reading. I think now that we've got audiobooks, I think reading is probably... It's a cop-out answer, but it's damn good.
I have a question.
That's
Was
good.
Carol named after Carols, or were Carols named after Carol?
I have no idea. There will be an answer to that shortly. We have an elf. Makes sense. And she's not short either. Right. At this point in my life, I would say I want to speak right. I would be happy to share what's in my head for the rest of my life. Purple says, my neighbour was illiterate. It was a huge problem for him. Whenever he got mail, he brought it to us to read. And we had to fill out forms for him. Randolph says, okay, I give up reading then, because there's a lot of technology that can read for me.
Mm-hmm.
Harmonica Man says, I used to read on average 3,000 words per minute, down to hardly ever now. Ricardo can't decide. And people are complimenting Jen's voice. I protest because reading is my favourite thing. Well, choose reading then. You can. That's one of the options. Does writing include typing? It includes typing with your hands in the way that we can do it now fast. Imagine typing with a stick on your forehead. You could definitely type
I
with a
mostly
stick
do
on your
voice
forehead.
to text, which means it picks up my accent so words are spelled wrong all the time.
Word carol is derived from the old French word.
A-L-L.
Y'all, what's going on?
All y'all.
All y'all up in here.
That's right. The plural.
Right. The word carol is derived from the old French word caroli. Caroli?
Oh,
A circle dance accompanied by singers.
interesting.
Well, that doesn't answer the question.
And if they're naked, then they're witches.
That just moves the question to a different time.
That's a
period.
stereotype.
Answer it at all.
Right. Did anyone, Mike?
And why do some carols have two L's and some only one?
There are no L's in some.
Okay, I'll accept that. I don't know that that's true, but I'll accept it for now.
Mike. And I'm getting told off for reading French repeatedly.
Oh.
People like when I read things from other languages. It
Dave,
sounds so bad.
Dave, would you like me to put stuff in the chat?
No!
Again, for you to, like in super chats for you to
I was
read
gonna
out.
say, half my super chats from you are in other languages that you make me read things.
Oh no, it wasn't just in other languages. I'd make sure I put it in Arabic characters or something like that.
I have to translate it and then pronounce it.
Yeah.
Me,
Yes.
yes, I think I think I would settle for listening to audiobooks. And personally, I love hearing the dulcet tones of Stephen Fry.
Yes, I do. Harry Potter for me is Stephen Fry.
Yes, and Sherlock Holmes as well.
Yes.
He has a sleep story on an app I have called Fields of Gold or something. I don't remember. It's something that it's not Fields of Gold. It's something, but it's lavender. So I don't know. It's Fields of Lavender or something like that, and it's really nice. Knocks me out every time.
Well, that's what lavender does. Tends to
Well,
make
I
you
mean,
sleepy.
lavender plus Stephen Fry means you're going to sleep really well that evening, I guess. So.
Does it? Fair enough. Okay, Jenny.
What?
Did you answer?
What was the question?
Would you rather be unable to speak and write or unable to read?
Oh, no, I didn't answer.
Would you like to?
Sure, I can do that.
Tonight?
Let me read that one more time.
Oh.
I would say read, because I could always have Audible books, and I could always get a proofreader to go through what I'd written.
Very good.
But I need to speak because I'm just so experienced and good at saying stupid things.
Fair enough.
I was going to be a bit of a dick and just answer this by just knocking on not saying anything.
That's great. That's great.
Because I know, obviously, Dave might want to get out of here at some time this evening. I'm actually going to say, yeah, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, so I probably do that more than reading because it's something that's kind of not easy for me to do when my job is sticking an audiobook for a few hours. Great. It also, I would say, if I didn't have the ability to read, one upside of it was I might save myself a lot of getting pissed off by stuff I see on Twitter and Facebook.
You could just quit Twitter and Facebook.
I could just do that. I mean, yeah, but it's like a drug, isn't it?
But then they win.
And then you feel like a loser for quitting. You're like, I totally should have stuck this out.
I have to read a super chat. I have to try and read a super chat.
I could quit drinking as well, but I'm not going to.
Not going to. $2 super chat from Yuhan, who says, Tengo relaciones intimas con las ardilas.
He has intimate relations. I don't remember what ardias is. Right off the top of my head. I have intimate relations with and I don't know what ardias is right off. I took Spanish. Squirrels.
Squirrels! Julie says with squirrels.
I have intimate relations with the squirrels. There you go. Tengo relaciones íntimas con las ardillas.
If Stuhl's here, he will have cut that for his soundboard.
Probably. He'll probably do it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Thank God for that. Right, firstly, lockdown is back in the UK, so we might be going daily again, if people want it. It would depend on what time people wanted it, and it would depend whether or not I can get regular guests. So if you're interested in being a guest, let me know. Oh, you bastard. You absolute bastard.
Read it out, Dave. Come on.
That's what it says, Dave.
That's what it says. I'll read it in a second once I've finished my spiel. If you want to be a guest, I'm not running it 24/7. It'll kill me.
while he runs that through Google Translate.
Oh my god!
They've changed Google Translate.
But that looks like ancient rune. It looks like ancient rune stuff.
It
like
says,
ancient
"Say
Nordic.
goodbye,
This is
Dave."
the thing. This is the thing. Dave's got to figure out what language that is now.
That's why you have detect language on Google Translate.
Amharic.
It looks like Ethiopian.
Is it Ethiopian? I'm not a linguist.
It says, "Say goodbye, Dave." Right. Listen, firstly, right.
Cunning or otherwise.
If people want me to go daily, I could do with people letting me know what time they'd like it to be, and if they want to be willing to be guests at any point, let me know when they can be guests as well, and I'll try and work out a schedule for shows, and we will see what we can do.
Dave, tell everyone what language that was. Now you found it.
I know. What language? It says Amharic.
Aramaic.
It says Amharic.
Yeah, Aramaic.
I thought Aramaic was spelled differently. Might be wrong.
Yeah, I think
right,
so.
and that's thank you for your £2 super chat, and the $5 super chat from GeoSam that says, "If you had to read this super chat with your feet, how would it sound?"
Like cheese. It would
Like
sound like
cheese.
cheese.
Sweaty cheese.
Sweaty cheese.
Sweaty cheese.
Right.
Great. I was going to have mac and cheese for supper. Now God.
Ooh, Roderick. Threw some Arabic at you, man. I want you to pronounce that with the correct accent, Dave.
Does anyone have anything to shill while I try and find out what this says?
I have a show on Saturdays. Hopefully, I will be able to do it this Saturday, 10 a.m. Central, The Science of, on my YouTube channel. Sundays, usually around 6:30 Central or 7 Central. I have This Week in BS with Nervardia, where we talk about the latest and greatest in bad science. There you go.
Thank you for your $2 super chat. I wouldn't know how you would know that I had a nice ass. I don't have anything below the neck. Andy.
How do you push yourself around on the cart?
I bounce.
Andy's been so polite. He's just sat here and let us railroad him. Go for it, Andy.
Teach him to be ruder.
I have said I have spoken at strategic points, so not to embarrass myself too much. But I do have a show tomorrow from 9 to 10 a.m. I'm going to be talking about the election over in Georgia.
Ooh, polls are closing in 3 hours.
And I'm also going to be doing a show tomorrow at 11 a.m. It's called The Best Advice Ever, where great people come on and talk about the best advice they ever got. Thomas Bear is going to come on from the Facebook group Off the Chain Atheists. And so he's going to be sharing about the best advice he ever got. Busy day for me.
Jeff?
I think I'm starting up the Asterisk Strings with Noodle again on Sunday. So other than that, nothing majorly. I've got to sort some dates out with potential guests I'm getting on, so which I'm probably going to start getting round to tomorrow. So
very good, Mike.
Okay. Well, tomorrow night, 10:30 GMT. I'm going to be chatting with Stan Chaos and getting to know him a bit better. So yeah, look out for that.
Yeah, Sam's awesome.
Yes,
Sam
Jenny?
is a cutie. Not a damn thing. Completely useless. Ask anyone. I'll be maybe doing something on Friday night, assuming that movie night holds together for another week. And I'll be doing this show if you'll have me.
Excellent. Right. On that note, I'm going to say thank you to Andy.
Thanks for having me on.
Nice
Mel?
to meet you, Andy.
Nice to meet you, everyone. Yeah, it was nice,
Nice to meet you.
Interacting and doing that face-to-face thing.
It's weird.
None of y'all wore masks. I'm so mad. If I get the Rona after this, I'm going to be upset.
Thanks to Jeff.
No worries.
Thanks to Mike.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks to Jenny.
You're welcome.
And we will see you sometime soon. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.